Hey, what's up? This is Father Moo. Let's start the show. Cool. Just one of my little sound toys there. I'm doing one of those talk to the camera vids today, and I'm going to keep it as absolutely short as possible, make my points, and end the video. I just wanted to talk a little bit in this video and a couple other ones. It's probably too deep to call it like music philosophy, but it is more like just talking about my approach to music, what I do and why I do it, and what kind of results I'm hoping for. So, I think probably most of the people watching this have already heard of something we call field recording, which is where you take a fancy microphone with a little wind cover on it, and maybe something that looks like this, a little digital recorder. Mine is the Boss Micro BR. I got like 3 of them. I've been using them for a decade. It has a built-in microphone, which is approximately here, and you turn it on, you walk around in an environment, you record the sounds. For field recording, traditionally it's been a lot of like nature sounds, like the ocean, or some frogs and birds in the jungle or whatever, and that is very cool. I guess some people do field recordings in cities or in human environments, or Matmos made an album where they took recordings of plastic surgery and then cut up those recordings in the studio, and it is absolutely disgusting and, in my opinion, unlistenable, but it's a very interesting experiment. So, field recording, the goal is usually to capture ambient nature sounds, natural sounds, as accurately as you can, and there's something else, though, which I wanted to talk about today, and I've explained what I believe field recording is, because you might at first think this is the same thing, but I assure you it's not. So there's this artist in Japan, they release music under the name the GEROGERIGEGEGE, which is supposed to sound like the sound of vomiting in Japanese. They're an extremely noisy band, or that's what they've been known for, and there's like a main guy and a couple of other guys that work with him, and he releases it under this name. A while back, they took a break. I think they took an 11 or 12 year break from releasing music, and nobody heard from them and nobody knew what had happened to them. And then finally we got an album which is called Moenai Hai. It's an album, I think that translates as the unburnable trash, because in Japan, when they throw out their garbage and their recycling, they have what they call burnable trash. And I think the joke he's making is that like he is the trash that can't be burned, or his music is the trash that can't be burned. But I'm not here to analyze that album. I'm obviously not Mr. Fantino. Somebody better than me has already done it on YouTube before. What's important to me is the very first track on that album is labeled on the disc, not as a field recording, but as a treasure trash recording, treasure/trash. And I think in the context of the name, Unburnable Trash, that's not a coincidence. So that recording, I'm going to play a very brief snippet of you because for copyright reasons, and I think that'll be fine. If I get in trouble, I'll remake the video and upload it with a link in the description to that track. But the recording seems to be a recording that the main guy behind the band made. It sounds like he's like outside, like maybe near a train station, because I think you can hear like that bar coming down and the alert sound that it makes. Not a train station, a railway crossing. And there's also some dude there, which I don't think is a guy in their band, and he's talking really strangely. He sounds like he's pretty hammered, and he's also like rolling his R's in a very distinctive way, and he's like, Kono Yaro. I can't really do it properly, but Kono Yaro means like you jerk or something in Japanese. It's probably stronger than that. So the guy sounds like he's cursing somebody out in Japanese, and he's also slurring his words, and he's hammered. In fact, if he saw the other guy recording him with a microphone, maybe he's cursing out that guy. I've never bothered to translate it because I don't think that's necessary to appreciate it. But he put this on as the first track on the album, and at the end of that recording, instead of it being him, it kind of changes to these other sounds which I can't really identify. They're like almost like metallic drones, but I don't think they're instruments he's playing. I think they're just recordings that he made with a device, again, probably something like this. It might have been a cassette recorder instead of a digital one. That doesn't matter. So yeah, let's just take a moment now to listen to a very short excerpt from that first track from the GEROGERIGEGEGE Mo and I High. Here we go. Okay, and we're back. So, yeah, that's an example of a treasure trash recording, and when I was listening to that album, I was thinking about some of the recordings I've made in the past. I didn't call them field recordings, I called them audio photography because I found they were very nostalgic. They sort of like captured a moment in time. And so what I've decided to do today is to play for you probably my best treasure trash recording of all time in its entirety, which is only about 3 minutes long, so don't get too stressed. But I gotta set it up first. So the year is probably 2001 or 2002. And my friends and I who live in the Pacific Northwest like to go camping, as many people do. We'd sit around a fire at night, and I would have my acoustic guitar, and I would play like cover versions of pop songs like, you know, I don't know, The Rentals or Built to Spill or something like that. And my friends know these songs and they would sing along. It's like a campfire sing-along, but for indie music. And that's fine. So I had this little recorder with me and it was running. It was probably running for over an hour. But, so when it starts, you're going to hear, you know, people talking around the fire. You can probably hear the crackling of the fire burning. I highly suggest headphones to listen to this. You don't have to use them, but you won't hear all the fine details if you don't. And I'm playing the guitar, which you can hear relatively clearly. And one of my friends, who actually I'm not going to name, and he's not even my friend anymore, he starts singing along to the song, which is something we did a lot. One person would improvise on an instrument, the other person would improvise some lyrics. But he makes up a funny little song, which I usually call I Bought Myself a Canoe, which is one of the lines in the song. And it's pretty ridiculous and silly and just made up on the moment, but it's not a parody of anything. It's just a little thing that he sang along to what I was playing. He makes up a verse, and then I switch to something like a chorus, and he sings a chorus, and it goes back to the verse. And then he gets distracted, and I think he says to somebody like, "Is that a jar of peanuts?" or something like that, and he's surprised. And at the very end, almost right at the end of the recording, you can hear my other friend say something like, "It doesn't matter what Father Moo's playing, it's art." Except he doesn't call me Father Moo because I didn't have that persona at the time. And he's right, it is, I mean, that recording, as far as I'm concerned, is as good as any recording I sat down and programmed and EQ'd and got all the details right and composed and so on. It's just a capture of a improvisation, but one of those times when everything just clicks and it's working. And I assume that's why the guy from the GEROGERIGEGEGE put that recording at the beginning of his sort of comeback album after many years. I heard that when he was very young, he would go out of his house at night and he would walk to like near the highway and just listen to the sounds of the cars driving on the highway. And then later he got a cassette recorder and he would record that sound and listen to it in his room. And I believe this is how he may have gotten into noise music or into treasure trash recording or whatever. So yeah, I'm going to cut to a black screen and play my treasure trash recording, of course in collaboration with other people. Some of them who probably didn't even know they were being recorded or that I'm now putting this on the internet over 20 years later. But yeah, I should also mention there is no reverb or effects added of any kind. Any mild reverb you may hear is just what the mic picked up as we were sitting around the campfire. We are outside. There's no EQing of any kind, and I think there's even an annoying beeping at the end that the recorder made automatically. It might even have been a different recorder than the one I used, but that doesn't matter. All I'm saying is, I suggest you put on headphones, listen to this recording, and I'll come back to just wrap this up quickly. Here we go.
I got you some flowers, and he smashes them in your face and grabs for your boobs. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't take my medication. Now there's fire.
Where do you put the tarp?
Over. And that's when I went.
When that one don't have fire, we have to
bought myself a canoe.
But it seems that we're missing a whole lot
With
of
you.
Oh, you're not going to put up the...
Where would we put it? Hey, Morgan, you want to put the tarp up right now before we go? Over here?
And we sailed so far in our car with a big baboon and a stick who was painted red.
Let's go open the car. I got a ladder rope.
And she asked me if I would climb a tree and then we'd be alone. And I
have somebody's later.
push her down. Down the tree? Down, right down the motherfucking tree. You stupid fucking bitch. Is that a jar of peanuts?
Doesn't matter what Frank's playing, it's art. Where's my nut?
Inside this.
Fucking sweet. What, you're not?
Okay, that was my treasure trash recording, and I think you can probably see why I like it. It's a nice little piece of music, and even the parts where I maybe mildly screw up on the guitar or someone talks while we're going, or the noises, the incidental noises are blending with the intentional music and in a really natural and organic way. So all I'm saying is you probably don't even need to buy something like this bad boy. You probably have your iPhone or whatever has a recording device in it nowadays, so you could get an old-timey like tape recorder, or I used to use an MD recorder with a microphone plugged in. It doesn't really matter because most digital things have a signal-to-noise ratio that will give you something useful, and I'm not here encouraging people to record their friends without their knowledge, because that might be seen as creepy or whatever. But if you turn it on and leave it out and people know that you're doing that, or you just say at the start, I'm going to jam on the guitar and I'm going to record it, so if you don't want it, don't say anything you don't want other people to hear or whatever. That's fine. Or you can just delete the recording afterward or use it for your own personal use. You don't have to put it on the internet like an egotist like me here. But yeah, the practice of treasure trash recording, of improvising music of any kind with your friends and or whoever, and making little recordings of that so you can listen back to yourself. I'm going to talk about it, the advantages of listening back in the future in another video. But yeah, I mean, the trash of the recording name of Treasure Trash Recordings, the trash probably refers to the quality, or the fact that many of the ones I have recorded I threw away. I only kept the few gems, like a couple minutes of great audio out of hours of junk, and that is totally fine. Usually you don't even have to listen back to all your junk if you just like look at your watch when you start, or set a timer when you start, and then you notice like, I recorded something that sounded really good at 1 hour and 2 minutes in. You could quickly find it later and just clip the part you want and use that and share that. But yeah, if you're improvising, record yourself, because cool things are going to happen. You're going to wish you had recorded them. If you don't use those recordings to share with others, you can use them for yourself. You might hear a musical idea you like and then want to replay on another instrument of some kind. So yeah, I recommend making treasure trash recordings, and don't spend any money on it. Just use whatever you have. Yeah, that's this video. Although I'm going to keep doing the explanation videos, I do have a couple other quote-unquote philosophy or approach ideas that I want to talk out, so be prepared for that. As always, you can just look at the playlists and pick the Father Moo content that you prefer. So thanks for watching. I hope to be live on the internet more in the next couple weeks. Peace out. Father Moo out of here.